We interrupt this program to bring you a special bulletin. Three assailants known as the Three Amigos have escaped from the Musical Institute in San Antonio, Texas. They were last seen passing Janie's record shop on Bandera, headed towards the Tejano TV studios. These men are considered to be armed and loaded on Babacoa and Marasul tequila. If you see the Three Amigos, contact Lila Lisa Promotions immediately. New episodes of the Three Amigos show streaming weekly on Tejano TV.
Tejano TV presents It's the Three Amigos Show! Starring Big Daddy D. Burleson, the Midnight Cowboy Marcus Daniels, and the Big Kahuna Juan Mendoza. Tonight's special guest, President of CHR Records, Rick Garcia. Brought to you by Mas Chingon Radio, LilaLisaPromotions.com. Musician Danny Farias. Marasul Tequila. Taste the new face of tequila. Archie's Homestyle Burgers in Cotulla, Texas. The Tejano Conjunto Music Superstore, Janie's Record Shop, and Tejano TV. And now, let's get on with the show.
It's Wednesday!
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here on this Wednesday evening, hump day for the Three Amigos Show. We're broadcasting live on Facebook and, of course, on YouTube. And we'll be streaming it live on Tejano TV. That's right. Make sure you guys download Tejano TV on all your Roku devices. First, I want to thank my baby Lila Cervantes with Lila Lisa Promotions. And, of course, Archie's Homestyle Burger, Danny Farias, Marasul Tequila, the new
Marasul Tequila.
And, of course, Janie's Record Shop in San Antonio, Texas. I am El Guy, Juan Mendoza.
And I'm D-Man Deluxe, and he is...
I'm Rick Garcia.
I
don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
And, of course, Mr. Marcus Daniels is in band practice right now, so hopefully he'll be joining us in just a little while. But we have an awesome gentleman here. He's president of CHR Records, and, of course, he used to have Hacienda Records back in the day in Corpus Christi, Texas. And he's got a lot of stories and a lot of things to tell us. Rick, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate this big time.
So what do you think of our program?
I think it's fantastic. You've got a lot of great sponsors. I want to try one of those burgers there at the Cotulla location.
Oh, Archie's. Yes,
Archie's.
sir.
That's some big old burgers. Like, I'm seriously like this. And he said 1 pound burger on the intro, but I think he goes as far as like 4 or 5 pound burgers, and them things.
Son of a gun.
Them things are like this and damn near tipping over and sliding off each other. They're good. They're good. They're home style, homemade, everything. There was nothing pre-packaged, frozen, nothing. So
I love it. I'm a burger guy, no doubt.
Yeah, you'll like it there then.
Perfect.
They also have this taco. It's called La Bomba, and of course the taco is like this, like shaped, of course, but you can't even close the taco because it's overfilled.
Man, wow.
And egg and bacon and everything in between. So they called it La Bomba.
Juan, why are you doing this? Because
I know. I was thinking exactly the same thing.
I don't eat before the show, and you just sitting here going, yeah, and the bubble. Oh, this is great.
Making you hungry?
I'm already hungry. Let's get this over with so I can eat.
Oh, we got a long way to go, a long hour or two.
Well, after the show, I'm going to drive to Cotulla. That's all I know.
Nice. Well,
but for those of you that do not know who Rick Garcia is, Rick, give us a little bit of your background history. Let's see. Tell us some of the artists you work with.
Oh, my goodness. It's more of a who have I not worked with over the years. I got into this at the age of 15. I had a garage band, and I went to the old Freddie studio in Corpus Christi. It was called Studio B. I took my garage band in, and we made some, the old 45s back then. And I was an aspiring, very promising singer and guitar player. And I say promising singer because they made me promise to stop. But we enjoyed that song. I especially liked the behind the scenes. I started hanging out there, and Freddie Martinez would, he got so tired of looking at me, he would say, "Kid, go wash the car. Kid, clean out my closet. Kid, go film my kids playing football." Just anything. And I gravitated. I wanted to be in the studio all the time. At that time, the groups that were hitting and still legends, there was Agustin Ramirez, and we were doing the song Damelo, and then there was Carlos Miranda, there was Joe Bravo. He was the first guy to do Que Casualidad. Carlos Cardenas, who wrote it, was in the studio teaching it to Joe Bravo. And of course, Freddie Martinez himself. There was Steve Jordan. There was Isidro Lopez. And then a man who was probably the most influential guy in my career, and he was there at the time. His name was Tony De La Rosa. And man, Tony, I can't say enough good things about him. He took an interest and just really nursemaided me through the whole thing. And I remember I sat down to engineer. He had De La Rosa Records. And I sat down to engineer one of his groups. It was called Los Jokers. The late, great Joel Silva was in that group. And I remember wanting to do my very best for them. And the first thing I did was I pressed the record button by accident, and I erased everything that we had done. And Joel Silva, Tony De La Rosa both said, "That's okay, we'll do it again." And they did. But back in those days, they didn't have the undo, cut, and stuff like that like we do now. You press the wrong button, that was it. So I did my share of that, but Tony was very patient with me, and Freddie Martinez was as well. And so I had a good couple of start years there. And then after that, I went kind of full-time De La Rosa Records because Tony was looking for an engineer, and we were traveling in different areas. We would go to Victoria, the old Calado Creek Studios. Paul Westbrook was the owner. We would go to Joey Records in San Antonio. At that time, they still had Falcon here in the Valley. So I remember it wasn't like it is now, where there's a studio at every street corner. They're like hamburger stands. But back then, it was you had to drive a good ways to go record. Remember the consoles were like a jet plane and stuff like that. So I got a chance to be around all that, and I tell you, I'm still fascinated to this day of the industry. I've never ever stopped loving it. It's I've been fortunate to make a living at it from the age of 15 to now. I'm 65, so I just celebrated 50 years of doing this. So
now, I've wanted to give an education to young people for the longest time about the record industry and how this happens. Your job as president. Tell people what your job entails.
My goodness. What do I do? What do I not do? CHR.
Okay, what is the job of a president of a record company?
Making sure the shit gets done.
That's pretty much it, huh?
Yeah. Make sure it gets done. Make sure it's as good as you can get it. Go out there and promote it, make it happen, and do your very best. It's changed a little bit, and my role here at CHR is a little different because I don't have the staff of 13, 14 like in the old Hacienda days. Now it's just myself, my wife Hilda Lamas, and we do everything. Hilda's excellent in graphics. I've got a great Pro Tools setup. The guys come in here to record. I've got my studio here in my house. And that way, if I'm mixing in the middle of the night, I might very well be in my underwear, drinking coffee and eating cookies. In fact, I'm in my underwear right now. If I stood up, but I won't stand up, I promise. But that and now, of course, everything's kind of gone digital. So we really have no need for it's cool to have it if you have it, but the great big long giant consoles that are
gone.
They're 100 feet long. Everything that I do basically is inside the Mac Mini that I've got, and I've subscribed to Pro Tools. So anytime there is a upgrade, I get it right away. And so I'm always current. and my garage is getting ready to be the final drum booth. So then a lot of it goes down in my living room, and it's an organization that I'm fortunate to work with good people. I've been doing this a while. When we started CHR about five years ago now. It's been a blast. But I was fortunate that a lot of the hacienda artists just wanted to come over with me, and we just continued. We had a relationship. I'm a relationship guy. I meet people. I like them. I love their music. And if we can continue working together for a long time, then count me in. I love it.
Okay, well then I've got a really, really tough question. Now, well, I'm going to give you something tough to do, because you're in the business of finding great talent, promoting that talent, and it's a good thing for all involved. Who should and who should not pursue a career in music?
Well, first, that's a great question. It's got to be in your blood. If it's not, you're wasting your time, and you're wasting the time of the people that are helping you. And also, if you're in this thing just for the paycheck, get out. You'll have more luck going to Stripes and buying lottery tickets. But the thing is, there are some of us who love doing this. We can't not do this. It's in
all day for
blood.
free.
I mean, yeah, I've recorded artists that tell me that they've played in dance halls with 7 or 8 people, and then they played in big venues with 3,000 or 4,000 people. But whatever it is, you take the good with the bad, and you always give them your best. And if you can do that and do this for the love of the music, it's about the music. That's God's gift to us, and we pass that down. We're going to make people happy long after we're out of here. It's going to live on. And I could not think of a better way to spend my lifetime by doing what I love and what I have a passion for. I've said it before. I'm the luckiest guy on the planet. I get to do exactly what I love every day of the week. I love that.
Yeah. So you've been in the industry for a while already, and you've been from vinyl 45s to 8 tracks to cassettes to CDs and everything else. Was it hard for you to convert from analog over to the digital side of everything?
At the beginning, yes, because I was the guy that swore that I would never, ever, ever give up reel-to-reel recording, the old 24-track 2-inch tape. I said, I'm not going to switch over to the computers. Heck no. But it has come so far along since those days. Now, I'll grant you, the sound was a little metallic back then. They didn't have real good processors. So I stayed in analog as long as I could. But there came a day when I would do everything in the analog room. And at Hacienda, we had 2 studios, at A and a B. The A room was a Sony, I forget what it's called now, Sony, anyway, 2-inch 24-track. And I would mix down to a digital audio tape. Then I would take that digital audio tape to the other studio, load it up to my computer, and I would do the mastering in Pro Tools. Yeah. And that worked okay. I wasn't comfortable enough yet to record over there. I still didn't trust it. Maybe it's because I didn't know how to work it. So things you don't know how to do, you tend to just blow it off. But anyway, eventually, when the upgrades came along, and the span of the hard drives has just increased big time. I was working on a 4-gig hard drive. And you know how many songs you can put in a 4-gig hard drive? Multi-track, the stems.
2.
Yeah, there you go.
Very big files.
Yeah, and so I would have to back up to what they called digital data storage, and I didn't know how to work that either.
Oh
so,
gosh!
Remember that? So
yes.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I would do, and it would take. Then I'd have to defrag the computer every time I would, wipe everything off of it, defrag it, and start again. So when I heard of a 9 gig hard drive, I thought, damn, wow. And then came others, and now space is not. Thank you, Albert. Space is not an issue. So you got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 terabyte hard drives now. You can pretty much do anything you want.
16 over here.
Awesome, good for you. Really? Wow.
And
you're set for life.
They're already making, like, for gamers. They already have. I forgot what the after a terabyte is. I think it's a quadribyte or something like that, which is 1,000. 1,000 terabytes.
I think it's called a petabyte, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they use that for gamers, I guess, to develop stuff. But it's very hard, I guess, to convert to digital. I guess from you're used to all the tape and everything else back in the studios, and then shrinking your office from you said a mile to just this now.
Well, I'm kind of okay with that, and that's been all right. I tend to work mostly in the box, and that's I don't have any right now outboard gears. I've got every plug-in you can think of, and some more than I'll ever use in my lifetime. But I agree with you on the consoles. Matter of fact, it's a funny story that we were working. A great guy, he's passed on now, but his name was Tino Signs, and he had a company, a label called Latin World Records, and he was formerly a hacienda engineer, and he went to do his own thing, and he was used to our big long ass console, so he said he wanted to buy it and put it in his studio. So okay, we weren't using it anymore, so he made us an offer. We liked it. He came by, he picked up the 100-pound power supply and the big old console, took it to his place, and I asked him later, I said, Tino, how's it working out? He said, man, it's just a glorified coffee table right now. Everything was in his computer, so that's the way it is. Evolution has taken us a long way from what it was. And there's a lot of good in that, and there's a lot of not so good in that. But anyway, you can't stop progress. It's not going to happen. And so the best bet is to make the best of it, make use of it, and continue doing the best that you can.
Yeah. Well, now that you brought it up, let's talk about the hard subject, which is sales, because there's the physical sales, and then there's downloads. Yeah. And what's your take on that? How does the record company feel about that?
Oh my goodness, that's a long story. Well, going back.
Okay, never mind.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I've been dying to get this off my chest for a long time.
Poking the bear.
Yeah. First of all, I remember the old days real well. When the 45 sold, the 8-track sold, the cassette sold, the LP sold, and there was very little pirating because it didn't sound the same. You get a cassette and you try to put something on it, it's not going to have the same quality that the album had. So it went on, but it wasn't that big of a deal. People still bought the real item when they could. And I remember some days of the sales of 10, 20,000 units when we had Lisa Lopez. That was incredible that we licensed that master pretty much all over the world. That's it. A lot of good stories in that one too. But then that sold a mega. And now what's going on is we're not seeing sales on physical CDs like we used to. I do make physical CDs on the majority of CHR artists, but there's some that we just loaded up digitally and that's it. And a lot of artists, that's all they want. They want to be able to hear it on Spotify or YouTube or Pandora or whatever.
But you need the physical for live performances for sales there. That helps the artist.
It does. But not every artist that's on this label does a lot of live performing. There are some that just record for recording's sake. Their stuff is good, and it gets streamed. So, but bottom line is, even digital downloads now have just really shrunk. We're in the age of streaming. And if you, as you know, streaming pays very, very little. You got to get 1,000 spins to make half a penny, something like that. I'm exaggerating, but it's real small, real small. So because of that, I'm not able to, and I don't know if I'm speaking for other labels or not. I can only speak for my label. I'm not able to give the guys big royalties or anything like that because I'm not going to make it. And if I put them on a royalty, it's all going to be recouped anyway. They'll never recoup. So might as well just be honest with them and say, guys, I'm going to give you the push of your lives, but hopefully you'll be able to get better shows, more money for your shows, and become more visible. That's what it's all about. And if I have enough content on CHR Records, and I'm building quite a catalog, I will, with enough nickels and dimes and quarters or whatever, it will eventually be a good source of revenue. But I'm in the growing stage right now, and that's what's going on. The main thing, the good thing is that I don't have to rely on this only. I have other sources of income and that are generated, and this is fun, and I'm going to keep building. But the goal. I'm not gonna lie. The goal, if I make money, I'm not gonna complain. You're never gonna.
But the message. The message I hear that you're giving to musicians. You're saying that, hey, I've got the resources. I will give you as much push as possible.
Yeah.
But you've got to get off your butts and work for a living.
Go out there. Yes.
Get out there and play. Get yourselves in front of the audiences. Develop a following, and that's where you will make money.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
well, it goes back to kind of what John Kennedy said when he got elected president. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. So don't ask what your label can do for you. What can you do for your record label? And help me help you is what it boils down to. Is
that on your door?
No, but I just thought of it. I might put it up there before the end of the night.
It's gonna be a slogan for a new poster. Rick Garcia.
CHR Records. That's not what.
Right? What can you? And I think I speak pretty much for. If I'm experiencing that, I'm sure everyone else is too. So,
oh yeah.
So it's not going to change. I mean, to be honest with you, I stream. I don't subscribe because I'm okay with the commercials. I'm a 1960s kid. I've heard commercials all my life. So if I'm listening on Spotify and they break into a commercial, fine. YouTube, fine. Pandora, fine. Doesn't matter. So that means that I don't pay anything. I get to listen to whatever the hell I want to, whenever I want to. If I want to listen to a Three Dog Night playlist or the Grassroots or Herman's Hermits or the Monkees or the Tony De La Rosas or the Pio Trevino and Magic or whatever, then I can do everything ever recorded is right there at our beck and call. I've never seen an industry that right now has that feature, and it's incredible.
But see, there's no nostalgia anymore. No more record collections. People aren't going out actively seeking these. You can just dial it up and it'll play for you.
Yeah. Now there are people that still do collect records. And,
like Juan does.
Yeah. And look at that. See, it's awesome. And
capital EMI. Let me hide that, then I don't get sued. But Emilio's 45. Or I even have a Shelly Lattice 45 up here. Back in her young days.
Juan brought up a point last week where he was talking about gone are the days where album art. The physical CD that you hold in your hand, that you possess, and you own that piece of magic right there in your hand. Gone are those days. And
yes, mostly. Now there are a handful of collectors that will do that, and
that means it's expensive then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you go on YouTube and you buy an album, and I don't have any of the Hacienda albums. I wish I did. I have the masters, and I have rights to that, but I don't have the album art. I don't have the cover, the back of it, and I'm the kind of guy that I like to get the album cover and look at it. I'll turn it around to see it on the back, who played on it, who produced it, who wrote the songs, who were the publishers, and all the liner notes. I like that. I still like that. But
Leonard Feather.
Yeah.
Leonard Feather.
Well, there's certain genres right now. I know there's one they call souldies, I guess, new soul oldies style of music, and they put out a lot of 45s right now. They put that's all they're doing is 45s.
Really?
Yes, and they're putting them out like real heavy, and the fans buy them. They sell out real quick.
But then it becomes an expensive hobby because you got to get the gear, you got to get the turntable, got to get the amps, got to get the speakers to enjoy that 45. So.
Yeah, I got two of them here in the house. So
good, but you are definitely a collector, one, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm building. I actually have some Pio Trevino and Al Chato Chavarria and
wow.
Magic. I mean, Movida over there in the living room and stuff. So I actually have a bunch of
I gotta make a confession though. What I used to do back during the 80s was go by radio stations. And radio stations, they get multiple copies of all these artists. And so they just usually chuck them in a bin in the back and says, go ahead, pick out what you want. And you go and you pick through all the CDs and all the vinyl and all that stuff because radio stations have multiple copies. And so that's how I would get my treats.
Well, back then they were a dime a dozen. They did go there and press so many, and it was real cheap at that point.
Yeah, and it was the habit of companies back then to send multiple copies to radio. So every radio station that was on like our list at the time got 2 or 3 copies of the album and several 45s, and then there was the inevitable thing that would happen, and I don't know if it was legit or not, but I would get calls and say, "Hey, somebody broke in and they stole all of our records. Can you send everything again?" Oh, okay. So there it goes again. Wow. And anyway.
So for all you listeners out there, make friends with your DJs, with the radio disc jockeys.
Yeah.
Free gear.
Yeah.
We remember you. We remember you. I won't lie. There are some artists that I will not play because of stuff like that. It was just their attitude just sucks, and I was like, I'm pull you guys off, and I just won't play it. They're not very radio friendly.
Oh wow, David Valadez, now Ramiro Garcia. Ramiro used to work at Hacienda also. Very good engineer. But the problem is that he didn't like people to know how good he was because then they would make him work. So he would pretend like he didn't know shit, and he would sit down on the couch, and then I would be mixing, and I'd look over at him, and his head would be down sleeping, and I'd say, "Hey, did we step puppy?" And he would say yes, or he would say no, but he had a great ear. So if he said no, I knew I had more mixing to do yet.
That's crazy. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break real quick. We're going to play a video. And these awesome guys, they're from the Austin area, and they were on Domingo Live quite some time ago. And, of course, we're talking about Los Marceles. And, of course, they're currently with CHR Records. Awesome group of guys. And the lead singer, he's got the voice like Agustin Ramirez.
Yes. And of course, the thing is, he doesn't do it on purpose. He just sings that way.
Yeah, that's his natural voice.
Yeah, it is.
He's got it real deep like that, and it sounds just like him. So we're going to go ahead and check out a couple songs real quick. And this is Los Marceles right here on the Three Amigos Show.
matraca y la tiene sin grazar. Y cuando yo se la toco, le hace triqui, triqui, trac. Juana tiene una matraca y la tiene sin grazar. Y cuando yo se la toco, le hace triqui, triqui, trac. Y le hace triqui, trac. Hace triqui, trac. Al entregarme a ti, no puse condición, completo te entregué mi pobre corazón, lo quise para mí, la más bella ilusión. Soñé con tu querer, 5 años, 20 días, pensaba yo que tú la gloria me darías, y todo para qué, si nunca fuiste mía. La esencia de mi ser, vela, nunca fuiste mía.
I apologize for that, but that was not my fault. That was how the videos were actually streaming on YouTube at that point. So I don't know what happened between.
I thought you didn't defrag your hard drive.
I ran out of room.
You didn't want to drive like Dee's got.
Yeah,
He's got big old terabytes.
Terabytes.
No,
Yeah.
that's the way the videos came out. I don't know why, but anyways, that's what Los Marceles sound like. And of course, they have 2 albums out right now, which you can get on chrrecords.com.
Right. We've got a third working. They're waiting on me to mix and master it. But we do have a single out, Si Tu También Te Vas. That's the name of it. And it's getting airplay, Chingon, and other places. So now comes mixing and mastering the 9 more, and we put that out. Do you remember one when, I think it's about 4 years ago, Los Marceles played for you at like a mall or something in San Antonio?
It was at the Pica Pica Plaza, one of the fanfare events, I guess. And it was in the morning, I think, or around noontime. I think it was at about 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
We gathered together and just got a bunch of groups to come play out there, and it was fun.
It was a heck of a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got to watch them later on that day at Fanfare.
Mm-hmm.
They packed it in right there in front of the stage, and I think the next day we were at some club. I can't remember what the name of it was.
The Cadillac Bar, I think.
The Cadillac Bar. We were there, and they played for us again, and it was fun. They had everybody dancing on the floor, and I think we recorded that. I think it was about an hour and a half set.
Oh, cool.
Or something like that. So it was pretty cool.
Maybe we can see that on Roku here.
Yeah, I need to download it, upload it to Tejano TV, but it is streaming on YouTube.
Gentlemen, I hate to interrupt, but we have suckered a record company exec down here to the show, and we've got, I know there are people out there that have questions like I do about how record companies work. How do you get into the business? Are you a singer? Are you a musician? How do you become a studio musician? There's all kinds of questions.
Hold on,
how do royalties work? How do, I could go on and on about the record.
Before we get into that, we gotta We got the other host here, the other co-host
right.
joining us here.
Oh, he's at the studio again.
Midnight Mike Jackson.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Rick?
I'm well, man.
He must be at Rick's studio.
Yeah. It's like Hacienda.
A little bit like the old Hacienda. Yeah.
The old Hacienda.
Yeah.
You had that big old console like that, didn't you, over there? I think when I went to go visit one time, I think you guys had that big old setup still.
Are you talking about Hacienda?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The A room maintained.
Was it a Neve?
No, it was. I wish the first board was a Harrison, and then after that, it became a AMEC TAC Magnum, and we ran it pretty much into the dirt. I mean, we were always recording, always busy. So then after that, we went Pro Tools in there as well. So that's how we ended the 40-year career of Hacienda Records.
Unfortunately, by a storm.
That didn't help. Yeah, it didn't help.
Do you still get emotional from that story?
Not anymore. I think everything happens for a reason. We had 40 great years there. I learned a heck of a lot, made a heck of a lot of good friends, but I'm happy right now doing exactly what I'm doing. And I don't mean to, I'm not dogging on anybody that I worked with, but here, I mean, the buck stops here. So if it fucks up, it's my fault. I can't blame it on nobody else. It's my fault. The buck stops here.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, the hurricane took out the building, and that was a big loss. In Corpus Christi and Conjunto Music, Tano, and all the legends that have crossed through there at some point. David Lee, Emilio, Pio, Movida, everybody that actually crossed in through them doors to record at one point or another in their career.
Yeah, it's true. That's right. In fact, the very first time, to my knowledge, that Selena sang into a microphone was when she did a demo at Hacienda. It was she never recorded for Hacienda, but on a couple of occasions she recorded at Hacienda. And I remember Marcel Chapa, we were just talking about you.
Yeah, Marcel. We just played your video.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, from her to there was also a thing that they did back in the 80s. We were the first 24-track studio in South Texas, and I think Luis Silva, the songwriter, he's passed away now, but he wrote a song called "Tejanos for Hunger." Came out about the time that Michael Jackson's "We Are the World." This was our contestation for it, and because we were the only 24-track studio, that meant that all the artists in it that were around Corpus Christi had to come to our studio. So then at that time, Ramon Ayala came in, Laura Canales came in, and of course the Hacienda artists that were involved in it were there as well. But it was so much fun, and I tell you, I do miss those days, but I'm thankful for them. But I'm having a blast doing what I'm doing right now. I kind of part of me kind of wishes I'd made the move sooner, but everything happens in God's world for a reason, and we wrote it out as long as the good Lord allowed us to. And I'm grateful that I get a chance to continue on. So I'm having a blast doing it.
Nice. Well, since Marcus just joined, Marcus, you got any questions?
Yeah. I've been listening, man. You guys, this is a good conversation. Good stuff, man, especially for rookie artists.
Get it in there because I know D has a bunch of questions.
I know. So. Hurry up before D gets going again.
I mean, come on. This is a record exec. This is the top of the food chain that you get to talk to, and you get to get a little information. First off,
I thought I got to go. See, look, he was about to take off. Okay. two-part question, Rick. So back in the that first when Univision came in and that Intocable, those groups came in to change the genre a little bit, kind of ripple effect happened.
Yes.
And what were you guys doing at the studio? And then today we have like this Grupo Frontera that's hitting real hard, and these guys. What do you guys do you make adjustments or do you welcome it?
No, we have no choice but to welcome it. I don't want to repel anything that's going on. That's not what we're here for. But Yes, I remember. It really started out. I'm trying to think of when it was, around '86, somewhere in there, that the major labels started getting involved,
Mhm.
and Hacienda, we were one of the first ones to sign a distribution deal, first with RCA Records and Bob Griever with. Remember that name? Oh, you
Take it
look
off. Come on, G. Come on, G. Take it off. Take it off.
good. There
I
you go.
talk too much. I ask too many questions. I
No,
talk
no,
too
we,
much.
we want that. We want that. Anyway, they had CBS, we had RCA, and we continued letting them distribute our stuff. But what I found out was that, and I'm not dogging the major labels, but they didn't really understand our onda. They thought in terms of Rocio Durcal and Juan Gabriel and Dulce La Cantante.
They want to mix it all up.
Yeah, and thank you, Hilda.
That's Hilda Lamas, Rick Garcia's better half.
Yes,
Biggest fan.
She's the biggest fan. That's not what she says when she's griping me out.
They never do.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Just hi, thank you, Gigi. Get a
Gigi.
nice person. We were talking about that and the artists, and I tell you, it's been a little rough on Hilda, in all honesty, because I've got about 20 signed artists to CHR Records, and my lovely wife patiently waits her turn while I'm working with Marcellus or Imposible from Houston just came in, or Los Nobles just came in, or Clady Quesada's in. So Marlisa Vella's finishing up one. So Hilda will sometimes tell me, when am I going to get my turn? But the answer is, though, that she's a dynamite artist and she's tearing it up. So she's traveling and touring, and she really is the backbone behind CHR Records. I mean, yeah, I've been doing it longer than she's been alive, but she's got a great head on her shoulders, and I love having her as a partner and also a wife.
Nice.
I'm glad you guys have actually.
I'm hoping that I got points for that.
I was gonna say he's scoring points right now. He's off screen going.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Why do you think I always say Lila's name at the beginning, at the end of the show?
Why do you think I rolled my eyes?
But you guys have actually opened your doors to different areas of the industry. You know, now you got Latin soul, which is Hilda's,
You're right, right.
You know, her area, and then of course, you know, you can jump into a little bit of like reggaeton style with Adasa.
Yes, Adasa, yeah,
Adasa,
exactly.
who was one of the singers of Encanto, the movie, and of course now you're jumping into different areas of the Latin market.
Yeah, and that's fun. And I mean, it's not really known so much in our area, but CHR also is very active in the pop and in the country and in the rock. Los Nobles and also group. Thank you. So, but yes, we just signed the Kicker Daddy Legacy. If anybody is aware, that's Country Rollins' children and grandchildren. I had the honor of what did you do wrong? I don't get it. Okay.
Because you're trying to score points. She wants to know what you do wrong.
Oh, okay. I did nothing wrong.
You're kissing up, buddy.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the Kicker Daddy Legacy is now part of the CHR family, and other groups. We have a young lady from Tampa, Florida. You've been getting her singles, Juan. Her name is Bibiana, and So she's doing more of the young side of CHR Records, but there's not so much of an audience here in South Texas, but there is, because everything's global now. There is no such thing as local. So just like this show now, I mean, if you're in Siberia, you can watch it, stream it. So there's no more local. So everything that we do, we consider that it's has a possibility of being seen worldwide. So that's cool. The only thing we haven't gotten into, and I don't really want to get into it, would be the hardcore gangster rap. And I know there's an audience for it, but I how many times can you? There you go. How many times can you hear somebody is yelling? You know, they're going to rape your mama and all that kind of stuff. I'd rather stay away. There's enough negativity, so I'd rather stay away from that.
Yeah.
We're going to sing healthy songs about love gone wrong and cheating on your wife and healthy things like that.
That's healthy cheating on your wife.
Yes.
Come on, Marcus, say something.
But now Rick has gotten in the past few years. He's gotten into the podcasting thing, which we actually play on Machine Gun Radio, which is through the decades, which
Right,
Rick
yeah.
telling the story for an hour and playing all of his artists, and of course some of the classics from the Hacienda years. And you just sent us a new one, which we actually played today.
Oh, awesome! I noticed that you downloaded it. It sent me a message that Machine Gun Radio had downloaded the podcast, and so that's great. I appreciate you doing that. And there's going to be more reissues from the old days. So I mentioned I have rights for the masters to re-release them, and so I'm putting different compilations together. We've got we got about 3 so far, but I'm working on a Tejano one that's going to have the classic Pio Trevino, the classic Romance, the classic Movida, the classic Los Chachos, the classic Steve Jordan, the roots of the gold. I call it the golden age of Tejano. It's going to have a lot of those roots in it. And but what I'm doing though, it's taking a while. So I've got the masters, and I'm taking my time and remastering, remixing, and the whole thing. But when it comes out, it's going to be good. Yeah. And I hope that I can send it to you guys. No, you're fine. You're good.
Well, I listen to you speak, and all these questions pop in my mind. What is your definition? How would you define a legend? And then, has digitalization really taken away the means to become a legend? Because it's basically worldwide distribution, and there's no backstory anymore.
There probably is. We just don't know the backstory. You know, we've been talking a little bit about Frontera. You know, they're taking it by storm right now, but they have an origin. They have a beginning. I don't know the beginning, but I know there is one. So it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before when we had the great questions. When we had the album, we could often see the liner notes behind it that would explain a little bit about where they are, what they did, how they became who they are, and so it's not as prevalent anymore. But as far as making a legend, I think probably right now it's easier to be seen, but by the same token, it's harder to be noticed because everybody is putting their stuff out right now. And there are so many studios. I hear things coming out of people's bedrooms that sound awesome. And everybody pretty much has their own studio, their own record label, their own publishing company, their own promotional team, their own whatever. So so that's going on a lot. So how do you get that person to be really noticed when other people are doing the exact same thing in the hundreds and in the thousands? So I still think the key starting it out is a good song and a good performance, a good arrangement, a good production. So you have those things going for you, then there is no guarantee in this business. I mean, creativity, you just can't predict where it's going to go. Look what happened in 1964 when the Beatles knocked off Mitch Miller and Frank Sinatra. It was like almost overnight. And it hasn't changed since. So we don't know where that next hit is coming from. If we did, then we'd all be millionaires.
Yeah, right.
See, like this right here is the thing that's missing from everything. You know, you won't get on Spotify and everything else is like all the liner notes and who they are, where they come from, and who they're thanking, and the record company, record label who wrote the song. All this stuff is what's missing these days. Yeah,
that is it. You're right. It is missing, but for people that are collectors, I've heard people have told me that they spent over $200 buying old Hacienda albums, and I'm thinking, wow, I should have held on to some. I don't have a single one.
I think during the pandemic is when I started buying a lot of the records, and I was able to find some Pio Trevino and some Movida and Al Chavaria and a couple of the old David Lee ones. I was able to find them on 33s, the original album.
The albums, 33 to 30.
And then a couple of the 45s. So I was collecting during the pandemic because I had nothing else to do.
Everything was closed. It was a very, very slow, non-existent period. But anyway, then there's a organization here in the Valley in San Benito. In fact, I'll be working with them next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend. And it's called the Texas Conjunto Hall of Fame and Museum. And they have so much history of Conjunto legends and so many $30 million.
There's a comma missing, but
the comma's in the wrong place.
You understand the zeros. They're making a lot of money.
Yeah. Overnight. TikTok sensations.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the organization, they have been donated a whole heck of a lot of old 45s from the old labels. I mean, I'm talking like real old, like I'm blanking out on it now, but I go there a lot and I visit with them, and I've spoken there a few times. But it always impresses me with their collection of albums and 45s. I've got some here. I should have brought them out, but anyway, they've got a lot of great history there. But yes, we're missing that, and but yet, if somebody wants to know about the history, luckily there is good organizations like the Tejano Roots Hall of Fame, the Texas Conjunto Hall of Fame and Museum, and others like that, TTMA, and there's a lot of history if you find the right people to tell it to you.
Can I get you to drop a reality bomb just for a moment here? And I want to simultaneously encourage and discourage people. How many submissions do you get per year for people wanting to become a recording artist?
Oh, be honest with you, it's not that many. I get a few, but I'm the first one to tell them, CHR Records, we're not a public studio. So we record only the artists that are signed with CHR Records. So if somebody calls and says, what do you charge? And there are plenty of other great studios that they can rent. I did my time on that. I don't want to do it anymore.
No. What I was asking was, how does somebody how do they approach you to be signed by a record company?
Okay. Well, it helps if they have some kind of a product or some kind of a visual social media presence. So I could go hear what they've done. And there's times when I've said, you sound great. Let's work together. And we have. Then there's other times when I'm not saying I'm right by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not a guru, but I do have a gut feel. And like I said, the buck stops here. So if I don't feel it, I'm not going to do it. And I don't mean to sound like an ass or nothing like that, but it's just the bottom line. I hope whoever is in this business finds exactly what they're looking for. But I tell people sometimes CHR Records might not be the best fit for you. But when it is, and we do work together, it's always, I love it. I love the end result. And I get to make a relationship that I hope will last. And, you played Los Marceles a little while ago. I mean, we go back to the early 90s and other artists before that, Bonnie Mauricio, like everything he's ever done as a solo artist. I've been lucky enough to be his producer on Ricky Naranjo and Ruben Vela when he was alive. God bless him, Tony De La Rosa. So it's a great industry. And because now looking at them and hearing what they're doing is a lot easier. So if they Lucas De Leon, good man. So if they text me and ask about being on the label, I'll say, well, first of all, do you have a self-contained group? Are you performing on a regular basis? And would you say twice a month, once every 5 years, or what do you do? And then very important to ask them, what are your goals? Mm-hmm. And if they say, well, I want to be rich, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, that's not okay. I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy.
That's what I was trying to illustrate, was that if you have to have that feeling inside that you were made to do this, that you have a gift, that you are. Then those are the people that should approach a record company. If you're trying to make money, if you're trying to make a name for yourself or be famous, then this is not for you. So
You're exactly right.
Don't spend your money. Don't waste your time.
Exactly. Like I said earlier, go to Circle K and buy some lottery tickets. The odds are better there than they are here. But if it's in your blood, if you can't not do it because you got to do it, then maybe you're in it for the right reason. And my mentors, my teachers that brought me up in this thing, they had it. Valerio Longoria, he was so dedicated to his craft. Tony De La Rosa, the same thing. They whether there was 2 people in the audience or 22,000 people in the audience, they gave it their all. And back then, and I guess even now, there's times when you're not exactly sure because hey, halfway through the show, the promoter skips out. So what's going to happen?
Has there been an artist that really surprised you, and you're talking
in a good way or a bad way?
No,
either one.
Both, yeah.
We'll go both, but you didn't think much of the artist, or you thought highly of the artist, but it just turned out to be the complete opposite after working with them.
I don't really want to mention names, but yes, it has happened in both circumstances. There was a singer that I thought was absolutely fantastic. And I thought this guy is going to just tear it up. He already had a good career going, but with the old Hacienda, he came on board. We were so happy to have him, and I still think he's a great singer to this day. And we even gave him some advance money just to sign. I mean, which is like a no-no today. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Where were you?
But anyway, that particular album happened to be very much of a flop. And as a result of that, we didn't do any more recordings with him. But he got dropped. And then there's been other ones that that there's something there because people are digging it. But it might not be my cup of tea, but they've got a following because they're busy and they're selling their merchandise. They're appearing in different venues. They're constantly on the move and on the go. And whether I personally am into it or not, I've got to remember that there's people out there that are really digging this. And yes,
you run a business. You run a business.
Yeah, there was an artist. Again, I don't want to mention names, but they were hitting already when they came to us, and I was not big fans of theirs, but it was a smart thing to get them and record them because they had a following and they sold a heck of a lot of records back in the day. And so it was wise to do what we did.
What about that one you passed up on?
Oh my, yeah. I've had my share of boo-boos in this business, and but luckily I've had more good calls than bad calls. But I do remember, and I'll say their names, and God bless them. I hope they don't get mad. But right shortly after we opened up, a group called La Mafia called.
Oh my God.
And he gave me all this hype about, man, we're so good. And so I said, okay, come on down. Let's see what you got, which they did. And I wasn't impressed. And it could be probably the biggest mistake of my life because look what happened to them. But it was so bad. I thought it was so bad that I actually erased the 2-inch tape so that we only have one single that we released. But can you imagine what would have happened if I had kept that 2-inch tape and then when they really, really hit, put it out because we had the rights to it. So that didn't happen. But anyway, that's a rarity. But yeah, I mean, who's going to be right 100% of the time? But I've had yeah, well, D except for D. But I've had more good calls than bad calls. And again, one of the best calls was when I heard a 17-year-old girl doing Dr. Pepper commercials in San Antonio, and her name was Lisa Lopez, and she floored me. She knocked me out. And I told my brother Roland, who was running things at the time, I said, "You got to get me this artist." And so I remember he made the call. She was underage, so he had to meet with their parents, and we did recording. And the very first single we put out was in the Spanish language was "Si quieres ver mi orar." And I tell you, that thing zoomed, and it's still, you can still hear it played a lot on terrestrial and internet radio. It's still going strong. So that was a good call. And
put it this way, I wasn't back then. I wasn't into Tejano music or anything Latino, but I heard about this record. It was just a sensation, and the push behind it was incredible. And I knew who Lisa Lopez was before I heard of anybody else. And it's like that was a great time. A great time in history.
It was an awesome time, and that really kind of took us by surprise. I knew it would be good, but I didn't know it would be that good.
It was that good.
It was that good, which to my knowledge, I don't think any, even to this day, I don't think anything's quite.
Because she was up against Jimmy Edward during that time, because Jimmy had just come out on his own, and she overshadowed everyone with that song.
Yeah, she was doing great, and my wife and I had coffee with her about maybe 2 years ago. She's still singing at her church, and she's lovely and as talented as ever. So she hasn't shown much interest in doing any commercial recording. But I tell you what, when God gave out musical talents, she was first in line.
D, we got your 1 hour mark.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, as always on this show, I like to let you know that the Three Amigos show is a 1 hour show, but we have yet to ever hit that mark because Tejanos, once they start talking, can't shut up because this is great stuff. This is great stuff to listen to. It's about history. It's about culture. It's about what we love and this industry.
Yes.
And so we're going to continue on with Rick Garcia, president of CHR Records. And so how much money do you make a year, Rich? Oh, not that question? Okay.
Including the tin cans that I pick up every morning?
We're after time here. Good. I can ask the hard questions. All right. So were you involved in the payola for a radio station? Because when Capital EMI and Sony and everybody on BMG, everybody came into the Tejano industry, radio airplay was important, and there were all these stories about payola for the DJs or for the radio stations to play songs high rotation. Is there any truth to that, Maury?
My gracious, how can I say this?
Hey, you're the one of the guys that would know.
What now? Got to say no?
No. I said no. I said you're one of the guys that would know, being in the record.
Oh, that I would know. Yeah, unfortunately, I know. That's the problem. But how can I say this? I'm not going to say that this applies to everybody, but pretty much.
So the answer is yes. Okay.
Yeah. When you're getting into especially in the corporate world, pretty much everything you hear has been bought and paid for. Bottom line.
Oh, wow.
So I'm probably going to get a lot of hate shit on that, but it's the truth.
Corporate or political world.
Yeah. That's why really internet radio has been the biggest blessing, because I've been told by corporate people I've talked to, they said they're hit players. They're not hit makers. If the song hits, they'll consider playing it, but don't send it to them first to get them on the song, because it's not going to happen. But luckily, I can send to my good buddy Juan Mendoza, and hey, if he digs it, he'll spin it. It's not a well, how many likes did it get on YouTube or something like that? I mean, they go by gut feel. And
how much money are you going to slip under the table?
Yeah.
That's a new cultura song right there. No, I mean, internet radio is different. I mean, because you never know which song will make a hit. I know there's certain artists that have put out singles because they wanted that single to hit or they thought that single was going to hit. We find another song on the album that might sound a little bit better, more commercial, and put that song out. And that could be like their 45, their B-side. Like you said, that's a bigger hit than the original, than the single that they wanted to put out. So that's a good thing about internet radio, because we don't care. That's the truth. We're
internet radio and we don't care.
You don't care. That's a good slogan.
There you go. Mas Chingon Radio. We don't care.
Oh no.
Right there next to my ask what your label will do for you. What can you do for your label? We don't care.
I get real arrogant lately. No, but yeah, we find songs that just they don't think that would hit, and we found a couple of them, and they did very well with it. And I'm not gonna blame myself, but you know, a lot of the internet radio stations, you know, we send them the music, Lila does, and they turn out to be great for them, for the artists, and they perform them, and they're making it bigger than the actual single that they wanted to put out.
That's happened, yeah. I'll tell you another story, and this is true. When we did Coco Rayado at Urban Vela, we put that out, and nobody cared. That song stayed out for over like 3 years, and nobody really gave a shit. And then somebody in Mexico, in a little bitty, I think AM station, at 2:00 in the morning, started playing it, and it started snowballing, and other stations in Mexico started playing it. And then because it kind of got snowballed over there, it crossed over into this country. And people said, well, how did you do that? Said, dude, it's the one we sent you 3 years ago, and you didn't care. So, and that's literally what happened. And who would know at 65 years old, Ruben Vela would have the biggest hit of his life. You know, he'd go play, and 15-year-old girls throwing their underwear at him and stuff.
Oh, wait. No, I don't need that image in my head.
Did that same thing happen for Hugo with Charanga? Didn't it go? It went international first, I believe.
Probably so. The Fandango,
and he didn't plan on making that song a hit. I mean, it wasn't one of his main singles that he wanted to put out there, but the song got played, and it just turned into what it was.
Mm-hmm. To hear Hugo tell it, he says, "Man, it's just 2 chords. That's it."
And he's singing the same line over and over again, and rapping a little bit and singing the same line, and it made it a big old hit back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, like I always say, there are no bad songs, just bad arrangements. And the biggest example of that is someone's knocking at the door, somebody's ringing the bell. Do me a favor, open the door, let him in. What kind of song is that? But it was the number 1 for 21 weeks, was it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So anyway, but see, you got to remember that we're dealing with creativity, which is very subjective. It's like if you go look at a house that a contractor built, I might think it's great. You might think, oh, that staircase should have been over here. Oh, that's the wrong color for the door. Oh, that carpet's terrible. But I like what I like, and we all like what we like. So that's why in the music business, 2 + 2 rarely equals 4. So it just, you go with your gut feel, do the best you can with it, and make it available. Try to encourage your artists to go out there and work it, promote it, and with a team effort, you can generate some noise with that song. Now, I don't think that right now anything's going to really sell like the old things sold, because they're listened to for free on the streaming channels. So, I mean, I haven't bought a record in probably 20 years, but I sure listen to a lot of music on the streaming channels. So that it's an evolution that we can't get away from. It's there.
Well, can I ask this question then?
Definitely.
okay, because as we all know, genres, the popularity in genres is cyclic. I mean, country and westerns hits for a while, then rock and roll comes around, and then new age artists or whatever, and then Tejano. It's all cyclic. Do you ever try to anticipate when the cycles happened and what you think might be the next big style that an artist should record?
Rarely, but it has happened. Not
Example.
Okay, then I'm noticing that now. There was a time when I first started doing this that you just discouraged the recording of cumbias. It just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, it's hip to be cumbia. It's hip to do the cumbias and the progressive ones as well as the traditional ones. So when I used to tell groups, let's not do any cumbias. Now I'm saying, yeah, let's do cumbias. Yeah, let's do it. So I can't anticipate what's going to hit and what's not going to hit, but I know that cumbias right now are mainstream. So if my artists want to do that genre, great, let's do it. And I like it when they go all out and put the percussions in it and the congas and the guidos and the sweetening on it. So to me, that's really good, and especially when it's done with real instruments. I'm not a sequencer kind of guy. I don't like to just get a drum loop and let it play. I like it when the guys actually create it, and if there's little pockets of where it breathes because it might speed up, slow down, that's okay. That really, I think it increases the authenticity of it. Now, if I'm doing a dance beat doing a dance song, I'm kicking my own ass, and doing a dance song, then yeah, we might go with a straight loop, but rarely do we do that. I like the authenticity of the acoustic instruments.
So I should be playing cumbias now.
If you did, it would not hurt. I guarantee that.
All right. Well, we're going to take another quick break right quick, and we're going to play Rick Garcia's Better Half, Miss Hilda Lamas. We're going to get a little bit. One of her videos. This one is called Caprichosa, right here on the Three Amigos Show.
Maldito, un payaso, un cretino, inepto, incompetente en el amor, idiota, tan cobarde y tan tonto. Contigo mi paciencia se acabó. A partir de hoy, tú te vas de aquí por ser asqueroso, un embustero, te vas de mí. Te arrepentirás, lo vas a pagar, porque tus mentiras aquí llegaron a su final. Caprichosa soy, no soy una tonta, toda una dama caprichosa soy. Caprichosa soy, no soy una tonta, toda una dama caprichosa soy. Maldito, un payaso, un cretino, inepto, incompetente del amor, idiota, tan cobarde y tan tonto. Contigo mi paciencia sí acabó. A partir de hoy, todo se acabó. Todo se acabó. A partir de hoy, te arrepentirás. Lo vas a pagar. Lo vas a pagar. Te arrepentirás. Caprichosa
pero sí te quiero. Eres bien canija, me tachas de mujeriego, pero ya ni pedo, quedé como un payaso. Aunque tú me insultes, me encanta tu cuerpazo. Nena, nena, vente para acá, esta noche le vamos a dar. Nena, nena, vente para acá, eres caprichosa y así me encantas más.
Caprichosa soy, no soy una tonta, toda una dama caprichosa
Doble
soy.
X, papi.
Caprichosa soy, caprichosa soy, no soy una tonta,
Seguimos.
toda una dama
Piensa el
caprichosa soy. Caprichosa
Nena,
soy.
nena, vente para acá, esta noche le vamos a dar. Nena, nena, vente para acá, eres caprichosa y así me encantas más. Nena, nena, vente para acá, esta noche le vamos a dar. Nena, nena, vente para acá, eres caprichosa y así me encantas más.
I love hearing a singer that takes charge of a song. She led that song. She didn't just sing it; she led it.
She has
Hilda, great job.
She has an awesome voice, and she can
Yes.
pretty much sing everything. I've heard her sing English, Latin. She did a conjunto song. And she just nails it. She has a great voice.
Yeah, and she enjoys all styles of music, and she's good at every one of them. So
Yeah.
I sometimes we were talking just a little while ago about her next release, and we got in the studio and with her band, and we just did what was called live takes.
Yeah.
So we mic'd everybody up, and we just said, "Do it, go for it, no overdubs, no nothing, just do it." And we did probably about 15, 16 songs. A lot of the Supremes, a lot of Aretha, a lot of more of the traditional stuff that she plays at her shows. And nothing was original. It was all copies of Baby Love and stuff like that. And I've been sitting on that actually for a couple of years now. And we're thinking about what if we just release that, just call it that. You know, the live sessions, just it was live. There was absolutely no overdubs.
Nice.
And if there's a mistake or two or whatever, we'll just chalk it up to the feeling. And so anyway, that's another project that's on my to-do list, and we'll go from there. But
Marcus, that's right up your alley, isn't it? The Aretha and all that stuff, the 80s Rewind band.
Oh yeah. That's what I just got.
That's awesome.
Got from Rick, did y'all record those sessions?
The live takes?
Uh-huh.
Yes, yeah.
Like video recording.
Oh no video. No. I wish we had actually.
Man, those would have been perfect for TikTok eats that type of thing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
TikTok is killing me.
Take advantage.
That's not going away, D.
Yeah,
it's not going away, D.
These days you got to take advantage of the social media, I guess.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, Hilda's a better guru at that, much better than I am. But no, the answer is we didn't. We could have and probably should have, but we didn't. It was just we were basically deciding which are going to be the songs that she keeps in her live sets. So we just went in there and told them, the dudes, do it live. We're not going to overdub. We're not going to do anything. I did individually track it, which was a good thing. So we do have the drums and the bass and the guitars and stuff like that.
Turn that cowbell down.
So that's done. But no, it was the intent was Marcus, Dan, we should collab with something.
My plan worked. I just dropped the seed in there and look what happened.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, hey, features are an in thing right now, so that would be good. That'd be really good. So anyway, the live thing was just that, and I am going to work on it. It's amazing that we're talking about it now because we were just talking about it a couple of hours ago when we were driving back home. So
D wants to collab.
He wants to collab. He's pouting over there.
He wants to be asked.
Well, believe me, guys, Hilda loves what she does, and that's why she's such a good partner to have, because it's not easy to find somebody that's got the same passion that you got. I went through I got a divorce because my first wife said that I loved music more than I loved her. So that's not necessarily true, but there are some personalities that are better fit to be in this business than others. So Hilda's just like me. We crave this thing. We cannot not do it. So somebody promised her a collab, but anyway. The answer is yes. She would love to do it, and if you guys want to drive to Harlingen, we can do it tonight.
Get that private jet. Get that private jet.
Yep. And bring me one of those hamburgers from Cthulhu also.
Make a pit stop.
Yeah, just 3-pounder.
There you go. And we do have an airport over here, so you can stop in the private airport.
I like it, guys. It's we're having I'm having a blast. I'm blessed beyond measure because I've talked to people who don't like what they do for a living, and I know it goes on, but I've gotten frustrated at certain times, but I've never stopped craving it and loving it. It's what I do.
It's what you're made for. That's what you were created to do. If God gave it to me, then I don't use it. Then I'm not doing any services to anybody. And I don't mean to get on a spiritual tangent here, but there is some scripture that says, if do it, because if you don't do it, it's going to be taken away from you. And even what you think you have, you won't have anymore. So you've got to take action on what it is that you feel you got to take action on. So I'm very confident every morning when I wake up and I fire up the Pro Tools over there, and I'm mixing another Texas country group right now called Rustic Rose, and they're dynamite, really dynamite. And so that's another avenue that CHR Records is looking at. And then of course there's I'm behind, but it's okay. I'll get caught up.
You bring in all the musicians at once. Is that the type of engineer you are? They're all at once. They need to know their stuff, and you push it out.
It can be that way, but it doesn't have to be that way. Now, especially with some of the conjuntos, they play better when they're all doing it at the same time, and they're just not real comfortable with overdubs. But personally, I prefer getting like the drums and the bass, getting that foundation.
Get that rock.
Yeah. And then if it's a country thing, well, then we go with the acoustic guitars. If it's a conjunto thing, we go to the bajo sexto. If it's Tejano, electric guitars. And then I'll build on it with keyboards. And sometimes I like to do the octaves. If he's playing a really cool lick, okay, great. Now let's do that same thing, but an octave lower or an octave higher or whatever. And I'll pad it left and right, and it's a bigger full sound. There's a trick that actually Oscar Solis from Romance told me about. We did strings that were very prominent in the old Romance songs. And he'd say, okay, now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it an octave higher. And the dimension that it brought was just so cool. So I started doing that with Bio Trevino on his synthesizers. There's always another octave. And yes, I was involved with the Cedro Lopez back in the day. Good man, Cedro. One of the early guys taught me a lot. And so I do like to do the octaves, and then sometimes vocal stacks, sometimes not. But I do enjoy sometimes in the creation process actually creating, and that's always fun. It's always fun. Then there are the other bands, like the Dos Humbertos. When I worked with them, they just got in the studio and they just did it, and it just came out. It would take them longer. They lived in the valley, and it would take them longer to drive to Corpus Christi than it did for them to do the album. I mean, I'm talking fast. Henry Zimmerly from San Antonio was exactly the same way. He recorded incredibly fast, but there was all one take guys. And but then I had other groups that were the opposite. If we could get a song a day, that was a lot. And I remember working with Steve Jordan because he played everything. Yeah. So he was the guy that did his drums and his bass and his guitar and his accordion and his percussions. And then
he lived in the studio.
Yeah, he really did. And he would say, "Brother, I'm like a vitamin, one a day." Okay. I'll take it.
Guys, I think Rick's a vampire because he's bringing up these artists that are in black and white in my head. And he's saying things like, he's saying the 70s, but I'm looking at him like, I could have been recording in these artists this many decades.
Yeah, being the luckiest guy in the world, I got a chance to do that and had a blast. I was young and I just wanted to be there. I had to be around it. I started working at, like I said, as an apprentice engineer at Freddie Records, and it was probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 months or so before I went on the payroll. I was just there. I didn't want to go home. I was there. But then when they finally put me on the payroll, I'm not going to knock that. It was great. It was fun. I was young. I was still living with my parents. I didn't have a lot of bills. So it was like I was cleaning house. But again, the love for the music was still there then, and it's still here now. Luckiest guy in the world.
Well, the thing is, what a lot of people, well, the vast majority don't realize is that the engineer is the hidden musician. Because sure, they're great guys on the instrument, but somebody has to hear it and shape it and sculpt it and create that sound. And people just don't know that about engineers. But I wanted to ask you, since you're a guitar player, do you play on other people's projects, and do you have a signature either sound or like some other guitar playing engineer?
I got a good question after that. If he answers that, I have one more question.
Okay. I still do play on other people's stuff occasionally. I played on Hilda's, I played on Clady's, and but there's people out there that are 10 times better than I am. So
it ain't about that. It's about the feel. Do you fit? Does it work when you play? Oh, sorry.
Okay, yeah. Has he ever recorded a guitarist and then went back, deleted it, and went back and did it the right way?
No, I've never done that. Well, no, I take that back. I take that back. I might have done that. I might have done that, but it's been rare.
Glaring and obvious. The guitar player would know. He go, I didn't do that.
I didn't do it like that.
I'm good.
Yeah, but it's not unusual for a guy to perform a part and then for the producer to bring in a different guy to do it in a better session manner. Not everybody's a session player, so I also recorded background vocals. Yeah, I don't like to sing at all. That does not turn.
Why is that, Rick? Why?
I don't know. I would get so nervous, and I had to sing at a couple of early, when I was 15, 16, little shows that we would do, and I would get diarrhea. I would be so nervous. They'd have to come looking for me. Where's Rick? Oh, he's in that porta potty over there. So it was. There was one time when I was at a wedding, and they had to find me, and I just thought to myself, I don't need to be doing this. First of all, I don't like it. I'd much rather be the guy behind the scenes. To me, that's the fun part. And working with the real talents and like you guys that are born to be performers. To me, that's the fun. That's the fun that I get to be a part of that.
You might can answer also, but Rick, is it just me? I'll get in the studio. I start doing vocals, and I'm saying, okay, take the keyboards out. Okay, take that cowbell out. Take that, and then next there's nothing but guitar and bass. And then I'm finally comfortable singing. I don't know. The other artists do that.
Yeah, but again, there's no set way and no set pattern. that's the beauty of this business. I mean, it's subjective.
Yeah, whatever makes you comfortable.
Yeah.
I can't listen to the whole song for some reason. Just too much going on.
In that case, then don't. I mean, whatever works for you. And I've told my guys too that headphone mix. Okay, well, there's too much, or bring that way down, or something like that. We'll do that. And I remember in one of the Lisa Lopez early sessions, that was good. I brought in part of the Corpus Christi Symphony to do the real strings on it. Mm-hmm. And I had a music background, so I charted up, noted up some strings, and I brought the key players from the symphony in. And the first thing they said was, can you take out her voice because it's throwing us off? It's too flat. And then they said, when she does the real vocal, I'm sure she'll do better. And that was the real vocal. And she knocked it out of the park, so
oh my gosh.
But yeah, for the symphony ear, it threw them off. So I had to take out the vocal, and they were reading anyway the music, so they knew what to play. So but that's what made them happy. So no, man, if you gotta take out the keyboards and just go with basic, do it. Whatever floats your boat. There's no right or wrong.
Well, that is okay. That's got to take the cake for me. I've never heard anyone say that. Wow, take out the vocal because it's throwing.
Yeah. She goes flat too much, and I'm thinking, oh, all right. So, wow. I mean, I didn't hear it, and I produced it. So I thought it was pretty good. So anyway, but we of course at the end of they left. I put the vocal back in and did the mixing and stuff. So. But if they have to have it a certain way, then it's no problem. We can accommodate.
Yeah. Here's some of the projects that Rick was involved in back in the day.
La Movida.
La Movida. Another one. La Movida. Panty Power.
Yeah.
Abracadabra.
Pio Trevino. Magic.
Yeah, I remember that one.
El Magazine. That was the one. David Lee. Yeah.
So. Those were some of the ones that I collected during the pandemic. So we're just bored, had nothing to do, and I said, "Oh, buy them records."
Awesome! I wish I had held on to my copies.
Lila,
no,
Lila needs to start selling your records.
No, hell no.
It's funny.
You've been doing podcasting for the past 5 years since you opened up CHR Records, and you got some amazing stories. And probably my favorite story, and I wanted you to tell this on the air, was the rock and roll artist that actually came through your door.
Oh, the Eddie Money?
Yes.
Yeah, it was true. It was mid 70s, and we got a call that there was a group playing at one of it was a Holiday Inn airport. They were at a club there, but they said that they didn't get out till 2 a.m. That's when they stopped. But they were getting ready to go to California, but they wanted to cut some songs and take them with them. Could they book around 3 a.m.? And so I
wow,
cool. That's okay. That's fine. Yes, the answer is yes. So true to form, they came in and recorded about 4 or 5 songs. And the artist's name was Eddie Mahoney, but he later became known as Eddie Money. So 2 Tickets to Paradise, Baby Hold On, those were cut there in Corpus Christi, and it took us all night. I drove him to the airport the next day because they were flying out, and he said, "Brother, thank you. It means a lot." And you're welcome. I had a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun. So it was a very well structured band. I mean, they all knew their parts. There was no nonsense. They did it, and I think we started around. They got there around a little bit before 3 a.m. We started recording, and I think we got done around noon the next day. Yeah. So I took to the airport. And then I was told later by one of their publicists that CBS did use the basic tracks. They added some things to it. They added some background voices. They added some strings and things like that. But the background was
the meat
were what we cut. Yeah. And that was a heck of a lot. He was a nice guy. I know he's passed on now, but he was evidently he must have been going through something because he would ask to use the phone a lot. And I had a key, so I'd open up one of the offices, and he would sit there and he would talk. And sometimes the conversation would get real loud. Well, be that way. I don't know. And then it would get quiet. I'm sorry, I don't know. And then it would get loud again. Well, just be that way. See if I care. So I don't know. He was talking to me.
Marcus, what kind of phone calls are those like? What kind of involved?
I hang up real quick.
Well, he kept going evidently, and maybe that's just the way they loved each other. But I did notice that, and also the road crew, the roadies, put a card table out in the lobby, and they play poker the whole time. They set up, and then they play poker, and then when that was over, they went and tore down and left. So everybody had their role, and it was well structured.
What were your thoughts and everything when you heard them songs hitting as big as they did back?
I knew. When I heard them there in the studio, I knew those were exceptional songs. And then when they hit, a lot of all the other engineers were teasing me and saying, "Well, how does it feel to have recorded Eddie Money and stuff like that?" And it feels good. It feels real good. So Then came there was another act at that time called Toby Bow. I don't know if anybody remembers.
Yeah, Toby Bow. Yeah.
Well, there's one of the most brilliant men in this business named Paul Westbrook. He actually had owned Toby Bow Masters. Remember Paul asking me? He said, "Oh, do you own that master of Eddie Money?" I said, "No, it was work for hire." He said, "Well, I own Toby Bow's master." So, Paul, if you're listening, you're a good man.
It said, was that Rick's voice on the intro of La Onda Airways?
No, that was a man by the name of Ed Sharp. They called him El Filoso. He's passed away, but he used to be the main voiceover guy for Channel 3 back in the day, and he loved our onda. He was not Mexicano at all, but if they'll notice at the end when he's doing his talk, instead of saying "buena suerte," he says "bueno suerte" because he got his things mixed up. Yeah. But the guy was Ed Sharp, heck of a nice guy. And actually, when we did Lisa Lopez, a lot of people don't know, but we did some country singles on her around the same time as the Urban Cowboy and Coal Miner's Daughter and stuff. And Ed Sharp was also a music director at one of the stations, KIKN or something like that. And he took a chance on that, on those songs. And it was great. I wrote the songs, I published the songs, and Ed was playing them. And they charted on Cashbox and stuff back in the day. So Ed Sharp, good man. I owe him a debt of gratitude.
So Rick, what is your vision for CHR Records with your role to play in it over the next few years?
Well, I'm going to keep doing this as long as God gives me the strength to keep doing it. My goal would be to increase our library of masters. I do want to get to the point where right now I think we're at about maybe 600 songs altogether, but I'd like that to be 6,000 songs. Then I'd like that to be 60,000 songs. And as I said at the very beginning of the show, all the little nickel and dime stream stuff that you get. Hey, if I make 50 cents on 60,000 different songs, that turns into something. So that would be good. But the main thing is that I love the music. It thrills me to no end to know that the music's going to be preserved. My great grandkids are going to be able to see what their old grandpa did production wise back in the day, and I hope they get a kick out of it.
Nice.
Rick, I hope you're getting a kick out of this show because
I'm having a blast, man.
You've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, I haven't got started yet, brother.
Someone that can keep up with D at his level.
What does it mean?
Man, it's impressive. Well,
there's a lot to talk. Well, D, yeah, you're awesome, man. I really never had a chance to really hang with you and meet you, but I've certainly heard about you. And Delia is what a fantastic singer. So I'm glad to see.
Good or not?
No, I mean, it's all been good. And my wife tells me that you're awesome and she wants to do a collab with you. So maybe it'll happen. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Where things go in God's universe is, we don't know. Tell him you will talk. Yeah.
I like the fact that he talks about something I'm interested in, which is the music period.
Boy, I am a music, how can I say this? I am one great big giant music groupie. I love being around it. I've got to, if I can be, I try to do my best to make myself available to host the Conjunto shows. The doing one this weekend in Brownsville, doing another one in San Benito, and an organization called the STCA, South Texas Conjunto Awards. So I'll be hosting their 25-year shows, and so that's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. So I just love it. I get to meet people. I get to get some knowledge of it. Now it's funny though, because not everybody is into it like I am. I've got 2 kids, 39 and 36. They don't give a rat's ass about it. They think their dad is the dumbest guy in the world. And I said, well, what are you going to do when I deed all this to you? He said, I'm just shutting it all down. So,
wow.
He's saying that in jest, of course, but they do not have the passion that I have. And then there's nothing wrong with that. They're doing well in their respective careers. They're making a lot more money than I am.
You know what happened though? They grew up with it. That's why.
Could be, yeah. They were exposed to it a lot, probably too much. Yeah. They got sick of it. But anyway.
Whereas we had the curiosity, we wanted to discover new things and gain all this knowledge. They were just bombarded 24 hours a day with your passion.
Yeah. I never thought of it that way, but that's very good. That's probably exactly what it was. And so.
Do you have the same affliction I have, which is I can't say no? Somebody will ask for a collaboration or something on a project. I can't say no because there's something to learn. There's always something to learn.
Yeah, I try to, unless I know that I'm not going to do a good job at it. And then I'll just not. I'll say it's perhaps the greatest idea in the world, but I'm not the guy. So
I'll butcher it for you.
Right? And I don't want to do that. So but I'm still very inquisitive, and signing this Rustic Rose and the Kicker Daddy Legacy and Clady are the newest ones that we're working with, and I think they're dynamite. I'm their biggest fans. I'm a groupie, but I love it, and so that's why I have so much fun at it.
Not only does Rick have a great unique voice for voiceovers and commercials and emceeing, but he's also a wrestling ring announcer down there.
Yes, yeah.
How fun is that? You're a big wrestling fan.
I'm a huge wrestling fan.
Like I am.
After music, that wrestling is my passion. I grew up a big fan back before it went so national. It was very regional.
Oh, really?
Territory days, yeah. And our South Texas territory. It was Joe Blanchard's Southwest Championship Wrestling.
Wahoo McDaniels.
Yeah. Fritz Von Erichs.
That's what I was going to bring up, the Von Erichs. They have a documentary, I think a documentary or a...
They're going to have a movie coming out called The Iron Claw. It's supposed to be... They've been through a lot as a family. But in my younger days, I got real involved with it. I actually started up my own promotion and did it on the side. It was called it was called Gulf Coast Wrestling Alliance. And I worked with some good people, the ex-WWE guys. I brought down the Bushwhackers one time, man. Rick El Desperado Gonzalez was our hero, and his daughter has grown up to be amazing, Raquel. So I've been around it. But now I will just mainly do announcing for other promotions, because there were times when I'd be in the ring, and I know it's all fun and games, but sometimes it'd go to the wrestler's head and they would actually beat the crap out of me. And, and I would tell them, hey, let's lighten up here a little bit. And one guy in particular, he was a luchador. He's passed away recently, but his name was Jose Luis Silvas, and he wrestled under the name Lobo Negro, and he had a mask on. Yeah. And I swear, when he put that mask on, he became a different dude. As nice of a guy as you could meet when he was unmasked. But the mask comes on, the personality changed, and he beat me up more than I've ever been beat up before. And so I would tell him, and not only me, but other wrestlers too, they'd have to grab him and put him down, and they'd say, "Hey, compadre, we're just working here. You don't have to work so stiff, And then, he would just. I think maybe that's what they did back in the lucha libre days in Mexico. They worked stiffer than over here. But anyway, yeah, great memories of that, and I'll always be a fan. I'm beyond the age now of doing it like I'd like to do it. But when I get a chance to go MC at different promotions, I'm there, and I'm their biggest fan.
So I can send you work and you'll do the voiceovers for the Three Amigos show and then just email them back to me?
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Give D a break.
It's my voice on everything.
It sounds great. I was going to ask you about that. That's really the intro sounds good.
Well, actually, Marcus did his first voiceover.
I finally bullied him into making a voiceover last week.
One. They didn't have confidence in me either.
We brainstormed the idea, and I wrote the little script down. I said, "Here it is. Let's see what we can do." And Marcus
three takes, each one better than the last. That's what got me.
But there was three different voices in
three voices, three personalities.
Really? Yeah. Wow. Well, it sounded great. I was very impressed when the show started. You started listing all these sponsors. Wow.
Rick, say really again. The way he just went, really. I can't do it though. He had that gravel in there.
He did it three different ways. The first one was a black guy. The second one was a white guy. The third one was like a real white guy.
Oh my goodness!
But it was funnier each take.
But three takes, and each one better than the last.
That's awesome. Whatever you guys are doing, you're doing it right. So keep doing what you're doing. You don't. I mean, I'll be glad to help, but you don't really need me at all. You guys got it down.
It's fun. It's all fun.
Free is free.
We never know. We might need something.
Okay. I am here.
Hey, Hilda, we're not going to pay him anything at all. He's just going to do it because he loves doing this stuff. So.
I do.
You guys start brainstorming right now, because at the end of the show, instead of our drop, we can do a couple of voiceovers.
Just let the video play.
Get it from Rick, man. We can do a couple. We can steal a couple of voiceovers. Send him a check later.
Okay, I've got the script right here, guys.
We got plenty of scripts. We'll come up with some different ideas. Cool. We always do, and manage to. Okay, baby, I love you.
That means get off. That means get off. Are we done? Are we over?
I guess we're done. Lila's
get a room.
Pull the plug.
Wow. Oh man, but let's go ahead and play our last video here. This is an awesome artist on the CHR record label. And this is Miss Clady from where's she at? She's from Brownsville too, right?
She's from Brownsville, yes.
Brownsville. And she's staying very busy out there in the island and all around the Corpus Christi area down there. Mm-hmm. So Miss Clady, and this one is called Besos de Miel, right here on the Three Amigos show. Pimp and Rick Garcia.
My pimp look.
There you go.
Tus besos son como miel, se deslizan con los míos y me curan como el té. Te necesito como flor al sol. Quiero despertar con el sonido de tu voz. Estás ahí. Quiéreme más que la sal al mar, que las olas acaricien mi cintura sin pensar. Corre tus dedos sin prisa, el tiempo que más da. Ya no te siento. El calor de tus manos hoy me hacen tanta falta. Extraño no poder volver atrás. Besos de miel me dabas sin parar. Ven a pelear. Que tus gritos me retumben las paredes por temblar. A pesar de todo no tengo paz. Prefiero una mentira a escuchar toda la verdad. Regresa aquí y brota mi piel con los versos de esos besos que no puedo ahora sentir. Los chocolates que derretiste en mí, no te alcanzaban las palabras para describir el fin. Ya no te siento. El calor de tus manos hoy me hacen tanta falta. Extraño no poder volver atrás. Besos de miel me dabas sin parar. Besos que queman como lumbre al despertar. Rayos de sol que queman mi piel al recordar. Extraño no poder volver atrás. Besos de miel me dabas sin parar.
Heads up, folks! The Ibarra Boys have chosen to premiere their very first video exclusively on our show. The video to their new hit song, Vamos a Bailar, and you get to see it first on Friday Night Live. We're going to be talking to Abraham and Roy about their newfound fame, and you get to ask them questions. Tune in this Friday at 7. Y vamos a bailar todos, right here on the Three Amigos Show, Friday Night Live.
This week on the Three Amigos Show.
With the 43rd Annual Tejano Music Awards in San Antonio, Texas just weeks away, the Three Amigos bring you Bino G, the man with the answers to all your Tejano Music Awards related questions. He's also the voice of the Tejano Music Awards national radio show, so he knows what he's talking about. Join us on September 6th when we put Bino G in the hot seat.
Right here on the Three Amigos Show.
Next week on the Three Amigos Show Special Edition, we talk to award-winning singer-songwriter Danny Farias and actress-model-producer Brandy Lopez as they discuss upcoming projects like their new variety show set in San Antonio, their celebration of Mas Chingon Radio's 10th anniversary party in December, and the new film Tamale Season making its world premiere. That's next Thursday right here on the Three Amigos Show Special Edition.
All right. We got a lot of things coming up.
Man, you're right in the pulse of everything. I think that's fantastic.
And big shout out going out to Clady. Of course, that's an awesome video. Was that was recorded under you guys? Or
Actually, that particular song was independently done by Clady before I met her. But in hearing that, it enticed me and encouraged me to seek her out as an artist. So her first CHR, official CHR single will be out September 15th. It's called Estoy Pensando en Ti. It's an old song written by Agustin Lara, but she puts a really cool twist on it. And she and I text almost every day, and I've been telling her, as much as we both want to leak it, we need to wait. So September 15th is the release date.
Good luck
we're
with that.
Yeah, it is so tempting. I want to like release it, and but we got to wait till.
We've got a few more minutes. Come on, it's right there. You know it's on your computer. Come on, Rick.
Come on.
Premiere right here on the Three Amigos Show.
We can do that. September 15th. If you guys are doing the show, we can certainly do that.
Nice.
We'll get Clady here also. She'll introduce her own song.
See if I can hack into Rick's computer.
But yes, this Friday, make sure you guys join us. We're gonna have a very special show. The Ibarra Boys, Los Ibarra Boys, are going to be joining us. They're going to be releasing a brand new music video. They just released a couple singles, and we have them here. And of course, Lila is their promoter, and she's been sending them out to all the radio stations. Yeah. So make sure you guys check it out. And of course, we're going to have the brand new music video on Tejano TV. And of course, you guys can vote for it on our top 10 music video countdown. Next week, we're going to have Bino G. We're going to be talking about the Tejano Music Awards, the 43rd anniversary. And then, of course, the day after, we're going to have Danny Farias, who's an awesome singer-songwriter. And of course, Miss Brandy Lopez, who's an actress. She's been in some soap operas, some music videos, and some other shows. She's at Tamale Season. She's got a couple other projects that she's working on. And we're going to be having those shows on Tejano TV as well. And of course, Danny Farias, who is our sponsor, is working on a location for our 10th anniversary of Machino Radio. 10 years already.
Fantastic. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And it passed by like really quick. So we're already at 10 years, and it's going to be a great show. Everybody's going to be invited. Y'all come out there and dress to impress, have a good time with us. And who knows who's going to be showing up. We're going to be out there. Marcus, D, Rick, you and Hilda are invited, and Clay and everybody else, all the other artists that you guys have. You guys can all come out there and
we will be there
with us.
Awesome.
So I know it's going to be within the first couple weeks of December. So that's when our actual anniversary is, December 30th. So we're gonna be celebrating that, but we didn't want to do it too close to Thanksgiving and Christmas, so we wanted to do it like right in the middle. So it's gonna be one of those weeks.
Whatever. Tell you what, in my world, the sooner you let me know, because I want to block it off on my calendar. So as soon as you know something, shoot me a text or whatever and say it's this day, and that way I can mark it off and nobody will get in my way.
Well, Danny's gonna spill the juice next week because he's the one that set up the location. So as soon as he knows, then I'll know, and everybody else will know. And,
may I ask, is it going to be in Cotula, San Antonio, or where do you?
It's going to be in San Antonio. It's going to be I can't remember the club that he was talking about. I know Joe Zimmerly's working with them, so I think he's going to be one of the performers there. So, and I think we're wanting to try to get some other performers and stuff, so to show up and just entertain and just have a good time that night.
Sounds great. Oh, by the way, next week you're having Bino G. Is that correct?
Yes, Bino G.
Wow, that's going to be real brave. The TTMA dude. You can't please everybody all the time, and so
we're gonna ask him the tough questions.
I want to listen to that one. You're going to hear me comment.
Now we're going to spill all the controversy. Me and Bino bumped heads before. We made up and everything else. We're going to have all the controversy, but we want to know how everything's going to happen at the Tejano Music Awards. And we're going to let you guys know next week who's going to be the winners automatically. Before anything happens. We're just going to bypass everything and just tell you who won.
I think that's good. It's good.
Oh my gosh.
No, we won't go that far. I know we won't even know. But this is going to be an interesting topic. A lot of people want to know how the things work, how the award situations work.
Good, because I'm one of them. I don't understand how things work. So
it's just the awards thing lately has gotten out of control. It's not much of a voting process anymore. It's just more of a here, you get an award. You get an award. You get an award. You get a tequila. You get an award. You get.
How you do that, D? Oh, like that. I'm out of here.
Well, I tell you what, I do want to listen in on that because I've had some questions, and TTMA actually grew up along the same time frame as the old Hacienda back in 79, and I have my issues, which I'll keep to myself right now, but I'm going to be pretty vocal on that when you guys talk to it next week. I don't know if I should really ask this right now, but and I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Tune in and chat it to us.
Tune in and chat.
That's going to be the best bet. Hilda would have my neck if she knows what
If you've got questions, please write in and let us know which questions to ask.
There's going to be a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But
somehow I get the feeling it's going to be my show, guys.
We're getting kicked off. It's going to be you by yourself. But no, I know, like I said, we're going to have the Ibarra Boys, Bino G, Danny Farias, Brandy Lopez. In the upcoming weeks, we're going to have Miss Lorena Mejia, Arti Herina, Gary Hobbs, and Miss Jenny B.
Lucky Joe,
Awesome.
Cesar Queoso, and David y Fernando.
Yes. And right now we're trying to work on getting Jennifer Pena, which is making her big comeback, and we're trying to work on getting her as well.
She's awesome.
And a couple other artists. So it's going to be pretty busy. We're going to be, and then of course with the Tano Music Awards, we're going to be there doing interviews with everybody there. So it's going to be real busy.
Awesome. Well, and you mentioned the Ibarra Boys. They tore it up here in San Benito at the grand opening of the Texas Conjunto Hall of Fame and Museum, and they were awesome. They tore it up. They've got
they were playing with the Homeboys, weren't they?
Well, they were doing a thing by themselves. Their dad, I think, was with them, and but no, I don't think the Homeboys were there. It's just it was them, and they sounded great.
Yeah, because I saw a video of the Homeboys, and they were up there playing with them. They were playing
the Homeboys and one of the Los Chamacos también
No. Oh, the other groups. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. But no, that's like I said, we got a lot of interviews coming up, and we're excited for all of them. We're gonna have a good time, and let's say we're planning on our 10th anniversary, Mashingon Radio, and hopefully everybody can attend and enjoy the night.
Yeah,
we got a thumbs up from Hilda. She gave us a thumbs up.
About?
She said she liked the show.
Oh, okay.
You're the one who pulled up the message.
Oh, no. I don't know what you were talking about, what subject you were talking about. Shout out from the DFW. It's the Hano Time out there, buddy. From It's the Hano Time says, shout out. Let's see. Saludos, Rick, from Michael Longoria.
Oh, cool. I've worked with him many years. He was Little Michael at one time. Now he's a big dude. He's hardly a little guy anymore, but he was Little Michael at one time. Now he's Chingon Michael.
Hilda Lama says I might get banned. Oh, it's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be very, very interesting. So the Texas Conjunto Music Hall of Fame and Museum says thumbs up from them. Good. The San Benito, Texas. San Benito.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome. September the 9th, we'll be involved in a food truck festival. They're on Robertson Street, and CHR Records is honored that we'll be providing the music for the whole event. So all the bands that will be playing are CHR artists. And right now we've got Hilda, we've got the Kicker Daddy Legacy, and a very good group from here in the Valley called Conjunto Impresión. It's going to be a great one. They're doing a great job. I have so much respect for that organization started by Ray Avila a long time ago. He's passed on, but his kids, it's Hilda's birthday, September 9th, but his kids, Peter, Patricia, and Joe, are carrying on the tradition great. So good things. Ding,
ding, ding, ding, ding, ding, ding, ding, ding, ding, ding, ding. And now the record has been broken. We have the longest running show ever. The record was held by Buddy Salcedo 2 weeks ago at 2 hours and 3 minutes. We have now surpassed that. We're at 2 hours and 4 minutes on air. And Rick Garcia, you are now the proud owner of the Three Amigos longest running show.
Awesome. If anybody comes on and breaks my record, you got to allow me to come back.
A rematch. To take your title, you got a title rematch.
I do. Yeah, he had a picture of me with the Texas title belt.
You had a championship belt?
We need to make one, guys.
We need to. Rick recorded my first 3 albums as an honor working for him.
Working with you, Michael. Yeah, and his dad Johnny, great guy. So I tell you, man, there is so much talent out there. It's incredible.
Nice. Well, we want to thank you so much, Rick, for.
We're doing the wrap up now.
Oh, okay. Unless you want to keep on going, you got more. Whoa.
No, my wife's over my shoulder with that glaring look. So
I see Rick over your shoulder. I see Rick over your shoulder.
What's that?
I see Rick over your shoulder.
Hi, Rick.
Oh yeah, there I am.
No, but we really do appreciate you guys. Appreciate you being on our show. It's an honor.
I've had so much fun. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. And every Wednesday, you guys can check out Rick Garcia's Through the Decades on Mas Chingon Radio, starting at 12 o'clock. And we got a couple episodes through the Wednesday to get you through your day, and a lot of stories, a lot of great conjunto music, a lot of throwbacks, and from his current artist that he has now on CHR Records. If you guys want to purchase some records, CDs, you guys
I do that too. I just refer to them as records.
I got the habit from last week. They were bringing up records. But if you guys want to purchase some CDs, go to chrrecords.com, and he's got a big catalog out there of all of his artists. So,
but see, Rick, part of that might be because that's the name, CHR Records, Freddie Records. So you don't really say Freddie CDs or CHR CD. We're still a record company. So yes, it fits.
CHR Digital.
No, that sounds horrible.
It does sound horrible.
It does. Well, Rick, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure.
The pleasure's mine, guys. Thank you so much for inviting me. I've had a blast.
All right, but
for any of you three Amigos fans out there that are binge watching all of our episodes over the weekend, good luck.
Happy birthday going out to Hilda.
Hilda.
Yeah, and for Cynthia, we celebrate every day of September. So happy birthday to her too.
It's her birthday month.
Yeah.
Birthday month.
Well, if you are in the neighborhood of the Rio Grande Valley in San Benito, September 9th, so there will be performances. And Hilda just texted up there that she will have birthday cake. So that's always a good thing. I'm going to be gaining 10 or 20 pounds that day.
Awesome.
Well, stick around, Rick. We need you for some drops and voiceover.
Yeah.
We're going to put you to work now. No, but we want to thank everybody for joining us here on Facebook and, of course, on YouTube. And this show will be streaming on Tejano TV throughout the week. And, of course, I want to thank my baby Lila Cervantes with Lila Lisa Promotions, Archie's Homestyle Burger, Danny Farias, Janie's Record Shop, and, of course, Mar Azul Tequila.
Mar Azul Tequila.
Tequila. I am El Guy, Juan Mendoza.
I'm D-Man Deluxe.
Marcus, the Midnight Cowboy.
Man.
And the pub.
Rick Garcia, the all-around neat dude.
He tried.
Great way to end the show. All right, but thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys tune in this Friday with the Ibarra Boys, 7 p.m. Don't miss out on that. Next week, Bino G. And, of course, we have Danny Farias and Miss Brandy Lopez. So don't miss out on that, and we'll see you Friday.
I think watch
next time on the Three Amigos Show. With the 43rd Annual Tejano Music Awards in San Antonio, Texas just weeks away, the Three Amigos bring you Bino G, the man with the answers to all your Tejano Music Awards related questions. He's also the voice of the Tejano Music Awards national radio show, so he knows what he's talking about. Join us on September 6th when we put Bino G in the hot seat, right here on the Three Amigos Show. Brought to you by Mas Chingon Radio, LilaLisaPromotions.com, musician Danny Farias, Mar Azul Tequila, taste the new face of tequila, Archie's Homestyle Burgers in Cotulla, Texas, Janie's Record Shop in San Antonio, Texas, and Tejano TV. You can view the Three Amigos Show on all your favorite streaming platforms and on all your Roku devices. The Three Amigos Show.